Well, people say third time's a charm, so this is my third attempt at this video. I wanted to do a video on discrimination, and this was actually triggered by an article that came across my Twitter feed. I am on Twitter as Fat Health Teacher. And the first thing that caught my eye is that it said that obesity is our last great prejudice, which I completely disagree with. That implies that we don't have any other prejudices, that we aren't discriminating in any other way, and this is wrong. So let's talk about why we discriminate. Well, discrimination in and of itself is not a bad thing. We do this all the time. You will see children doing it, right? They're trying to figure things out. They're trying to categorize things so they know how to interact with them. The problem arises when our judgments, when our initial assessments change how we interact with a person, or they determine how we interact with a person, or when we prevent another person from doing something because of whatever those assessments are. Okay? And we've been dealing with this as a nation for quite a while now. The most common one, or the one that's been in the news lately, has been the whole transgender thing, right? So we're saying, well, if you were born with a penis, then you need to go to the boys' bathroom. But how do we know if somebody was born with a penis or not? All right? If you're making judgments like that, and you're claiming that you are trying to protect yourself, you're basing your information on bad information. Okay? People who are going to sexually assault are going to do it whether or not they have a penis, and whether or not they're allowed to go into the girls' bathroom because they identify as female. Right? It's not the transgender people you have to worry about here. The second thing is that if you are making those judgments, then you're going to make mistakes. So I have a student who was kicked out of a bathroom because she did not look feminine enough. And we're in a state that doesn't even have the rules where you have to go to the bathroom of your sex at birth, right? She was kicked out. Like, somebody accused her of going to the wrong place. My own mother was discriminated against. She's got a gender-neutral name. And so she filled out her college application. When she got there, even though she had requested a female dorm, they put her in a male dorm because they assumed that her gender-neutral name was a guy, that it was short for a guy's name. Yeah, no, we need to not do this. We discriminate and we assess based on so many things. We will look at skin color, we'll look at how somebody's dressed, we'll look at whether or not they have money, we look at how they speak, what language they're using, what we think their religion is, what we think their gender is, whether or not we think they sleep with girls or guys or whatever, right? Because we make all these judgments, and as I said, that's okay. We can make these judgments. But we need to look at how, we need to look at whether or not the judgments are correct. And we need to be careful about using those initial judgments to interact with people, okay? Kids walk into my classroom and they're immediately assuming things about me. And once we get to know each other, then sometimes they'll realize that those initial assumptions were incorrect. Or sometimes those assumptions will be held up. But you can't know until you're actually interacting with the person, right? Somebody walks into your shop and they've got tattoos all up and down their arms. You may assume that they're a biker and that they are into the drug trade, or maybe they're not very nice, or that they're going to threaten you, or whatever, that kind of thing. And it may turn out they're a giant lovable bear. They may just have an appreciation for skin art. So, back to the article. This article was written by a gentleman who is out of Ireland named Mike Gibney. Okay? And while I don't agree with his initial statement that obesity is the last great prejudice, I do agree that it is something that is a prejudice, right? And we see it a lot. I'm very aware of it. When I go to buy a car, not only do I have to find one that fits my height, I gotta find one that fits my width. I'll go to class, or I'll be at a doctor's office and I'll sit down and the little arm things like dig into my hips. Not cool. It's incredibly distracting and uncomfortable. People who are overweight lose out on a lot of opportunities. They are described, and this is coming from the doctor's article, as lazy, as unmotivated, They are described as dirty. Let's see what else was in here. Um, they're greedy, they're self important, they are conceited, they're unreliable, they're untrustworthy, they're going to be late to work all the time, so they're going to have punctuality issues. Um, this doesn't make any sense. But these judgments exist and people do this, right? And I've seen it. You've seen it. You've been on YouTube and you've seen this. I know you have. One of the most obvious ways is the shaming that people do at the gym, right? There's somebody at the gym, they're working their butt off, they're big, and they've got the big old sweat thing on their front, they got the big old sweat thing on the back because they're working really hard, all right? And they may not be doing something that's hard for you, but it's hard for them. And then some jerk will come across. Maybe he's a meathead. I don't know. I know that's judgmental. But he will take a video, right? And he'll do it like over his shoulder because he thinks he's being sly and nobody's going to notice. And he's laughing. And he's making fun of this person who's trying to get in better shape. What is wrong with you? The gym should be a safe place. If I'm already in shape, why am I going to a gym? A gym is where we go to get into shape, right? And everybody's got a different starting level. So why are we going to make fun of this person? Why are we going to take a video of this person and post it to Facebook or to YouTube and say, hey, look at how stupid this person is. They don't even know how to use a machine. Well, instead of videoing them, why don't you approach them? And you don't have to approach like, ooh, I'm the boss and I know everything. Approach them from a place of caring and loving and tell them, look, would you like some assistance on how to use this machine so that you don't get hurt? Okay? I've done this, and I know I'm a big person, and so somebody looking at me and seeing me as a big person, giving them tips on how to use a machine, seems counterintuitive, but I actually do know what I'm talking about, because I went to school for this stuff, right? I went to school to become a health education teacher. I went to school to become a PE teacher, and to be a science teacher. Like, I know what I'm talking about. This is why I started this channel. Because I know that this does not match what I know. Because I haven't been following what I know. I haven't been following through on it. I cannot tell you, I think it's probably coming across, I cannot tell you how irritating it is to see the body shaming. All right? People of Walmart. Oh my Lord. People of Walmart. A whole website dedicated to embarrassing the people that go to Walmart. Seriously? You have no idea what these people are dealing with. Who are you to say, let's laugh at this person? Okay, what are we, back in elementary and high school? Middle school? Why are we doing this to each other? All right? Are you doing this to feel better about yourself? Because, oh, look at me. I'm in way better shape than that person. Stop it. Stop it. Seriously. Don't do it anymore. All right? Their life is hard enough. They don't need you to make it worse. And you shaming them is not going to make them change. Right? I talked yesterday about addiction. If I'm shaming somebody and I'm calling them a loser and I'm saying all these awful things, I'm not helping them. I'm giving credibility to how they may already feel about themselves. Why am I going to do that to them? That's a horrible thing to do. Stop it. Okay? I have no problem with you making initial judgments about people. All right? You hear somebody's Mormon, you wonder how many wives they have. You hear that somebody's Muslim, you wonder if they're a terrorist. Okay. But you know what? How about you actually find out before you act on that information? Okay? I was tall and on the thin side when I was growing up. I cannot think of how, I have no idea how many people asked me if I was a basketball player. No, I'm not a basketball player. I'm a volleyball player. Okay? I had no idea about basketball. Like, what? You bounce the ball, you throw it through the hoop. I don't get any of the plays. I know that there are plays. I know that there are 5 people on a team. I'm kind of figuring it out because at one point we didn't have a basketball coach, so I coached it for a season. And, it's just, If people are working hard, give them credit for working hard. And you don't have to be condescending, like, oh, it's so nice to see a fat person here trying to get thin. No. Because to be honest, it's not about getting thin. It's about getting healthy. Okay? If I don't get down to 165 pounds, that's not going to be the end of the world. If I'm at 200 and I'm strong and I can do what needs to get done, and I can hike and I can climb and I can play with my kid and not get tired, I'm going to be okay with that. I'm going to be okay with it. Okay? So, yeah. Don't discriminate. You can make observations. You can see if you can figure out how you need to interact with this person. But don't make your interactions based on your observations until you get more information. Okay? Allow yourself to reevaluate what you've observed as new data comes in. You owe it to yourself, and you owe it to, no, I'm not going to say you owe it to other people, but don't be a jerk. Right? Will Wheaton says don't be a jerk. I'm serious. Stop it. Don't be a jerk. Everyone has things that they're dealing with. Instead of putting each other down so we can feel better about ourselves, how about we try pulling each other up? This is the Fat Health Teacher. This is the end of my rant, and I will see you tomorrow for my week 3 check-in. Thank you.